Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I know that you are doing super, super fantastic. And in my video yesterday, well, I don't know when you see this, but in my last video before this one, how about that? I made a statement that is not exactly accurate. I mean, it's not so inaccurate that I should redact it or whatever, but, or delete the video, re record anything like that, edit it, none of that. However, it was like I wish I'd worded that differently. It was when I was referring to the field of consciousness or the field of existence, the field of awareness. I said that that there is the field, which is not like a region of space. It's just existence is just a field, and then here I am, my person, my individual consciousness, my awareness, is also in that field. But it's not like in this place in the field. And I'd mentioned, I think, uh, Johnny and Sally or whatever. And I said, they're there also. They are there, I meant. And if they, and like I'm a vibratory field, and Sally's a vibratory field, and Joe's a vibratory field, and all of that, and that we may interact or intersect. That is where it was kind of wrong, because that would imply that we are occupying space, and so therefore my vibration may be here and Joe's may be there, and if we happen to intersect, which that's wrong. I mean, it's like I said, it's not terribly wrong, but we are both everything is in the same field. Okay, everything occupies. It's so hard because we want to refer to this as space, as it's something we can measure, right? For example, and this is a very widely used example, and it's a good one. I mean, there's a good reason for it to be, but like where I am right now, there are radio waves coming from radio stations, coming from every way, from two-way radios, everything you can think. And then there's Wi-Fi signals going all over the place. Point is, like in this space you see right here, there are probably thousands of different vibratory frequent waves just going by. Now, are they interacting with one another? Probably not. Now, there are those times where, like, especially if you're 50 years old like I am, where you'll remember listening to the radio, and sometimes, like if you're traveling, especially if you get a radio station in one city, and then as you get away from it, you'll start hearing other radio stations from other cities kind of bleeding into that frequency. And that's like, well, they're on the same wavelength, sort of. But point is all of those waves, all of those frequencies, they all occupy the same space at the same time. And if they can get on the same frequency, or at least, well, yes, in that case, it is an exact frequency. But how it pertains to us and us in the field of consciousness is if we can get in a certain range of frequency, then we can interact with everything else on that range. And that explains this existence. That explains Earth. That explains my glasses. That explains you and how we are able to interact. But now, where it can get really out there woo woo is, I mean, you can take ghosts or Bigfoot or any of those things. Anything that we have seen kind of come into existence and then out of existence. And it didn't really come in and out of existence. It just came in and out of our vibratory field of our range of perception. So if you see something, and there's weird things happen. I mean, there's videos of UFOs that'll all of a sudden appear and then all of a sudden disappear. And while some people might say, well, it's using some kind of cloaking technology. Okay, fine. We can, I'm not going to go there. It doesn't matter. Point is that the theory behind that is that they are able to change their vibratory rate to the point where they can pop into our range of perception and then back out of our range of perception. So in order to come into this reality and interact with us, they have to alter their vibration. And we just haven't gotten there yet as far as humans are concerned. We haven't gotten to that point yet. And is it possible? I got to believe it is possible. Is it something that we are going to do in this particular realm? I think not. Probably not. But hey, who knows? Crazy things could happen. But in our lifetime, I seriously doubt it. But that's more thinking on a technological level. But you can go to other, as I was talking about, like you can go into a meditative state and you can project your consciousness out into the field, out into the void where everything is. I guess I got to believe it's kind of above everything, where it is really not interacting with anything. But if you knew what you were doing, probably you could drop down into any of those vibratory ranges and interact with things in that range. So anyway, yeah, I thought about. Well, I watched some of that so I could pull some of the shorts out, to make some shorts out of that video, and I saw where I was like, ooh, I kind of said where, like, Joe and Sally or whatever names I used, it almost sounded like I was saying we are in a place, and I'm here and Joe's there and Sally's there, and we may intermingle. No. Everything is in the hologram. That's why the holographic model works so well. Because in the holographic model, everything can be right here, but it's projected out into something that is vast. But everything that is there is all in one place. But again, that implies space. And when we're talking about consciousness, when we're talking about your true mind, it doesn't exist in any place. It just exists. And that's one of the things that's very hard to understand for our human brain to understand. That's why we need to tap into our higher self so that we can gain more understanding of these types of things. And some people might be like, well, what's the purpose of gaining that understanding? Well, maybe if you're just curious, right? I think it's fascinating, for one. That's one reason why. And two, I do believe that that's part of our reason for being here, is to gain more understanding, to be able to discover all of those things, right? Because I've talked about before how it's like our higher self outside of this. It's like, well, if my higher self is already outside of this and already knows all of these things, then why should I have to come back in here and just learn the same thing I already know? Well, because it's more about discovery, and it's more about the experience of learning, right? It's all of the experience we're going to gain while we're on our way there. So, anywho, I just wanted to kind of clarify that about we're so-and-so's occupying is here and I'm here and if our vibration. No, we're all in one place. But whether or not we interact is whether or not we are in the same vibratory range. So there you go. Anyway, loved one, that's what I got for now. And I would appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up. Give me a like. I would appreciate that. Also, the video that I'm referring to is the one that was from the one before this one. Where I was talking about the void. And I am going to do a void guided meditation. And I'm pretty excited about that because I think it's nice. It is. And I'm anxious and, well, not anxious, but I'm excited to share it. That's all. So anyway, please subscribe if you have not yet. And I do love you, and I'll be back directly.